Welcome back to my channel Limelight Leaks. Please share and subscribe and hit the bell icon for new updates.
Dale Earnhardt Sr. wasn't just any race car driver. He was the driver. With his black number 3 car, a mean look under those cool sunglasses, and a way of racing that was pretty tough, he got the nickname, the Intimidator. Over many years of racing, he won 76 times and got 7 big racing championships. But there was one racetrack that seemed to give him trouble even though it also made him famous. It was called Daytona International Speedway. He had won at almost every other track, but the Daytona 500, which is the biggest and most important race, had been really hard for him to win until that amazing win in 1998. By 2001, Dale wasn't trying to win just for himself anymore. He had already proven he was the best. His name was already written in NASCAR history as one of the greatest ever. But when he came back to Daytona for what nobody knew would be his last race, he wasn't there as a lone racer anymore. He was there as a teacher, a team boss, and most importantly, as a dad. That year, Dale Earnhardt Inc. had 3 cars in the race. Michael Waltrip was driving one, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was driving another, and Dale himself was driving the third. For the first time, he wasn't just racing for himself. He was racing with and for the people he cared about most. This wasn't about winning just to win. It was about making sure his team and his son had a good future. The morning of February 18, 2001, Daytona was full of excitement. Fans filled up all the seats waiting for the race to start. But for the people who knew Dale well, something seemed different about him. He wasn't acting like he usually did. He wasn't stressed out, but he was quieter, watching everything more carefully, thinking more deeply. This wasn't the tough fighter getting ready for battle. This was a man who looked like he was seeing the world with new eyes, taking it all in one last time. Some people said later it was just normal nervousness before a race. Others weren't so sure, because Dale Earnhardt Sr., a man known for being brave and fearless, seemed like someone who knew what was going to happen and was ready to face it. Race day mornings are always exciting and full of energy. The mechanics tighten bolts very carefully. The crew chiefs check all their information over and over. The drivers stretch their muscles, drink water, and focus their minds. But on February 18, 2001, in the Dale Earnhardt Inc. area, the feeling wasn't just about business. It felt strange and scary. Many crew members would later say the same thing. Dale was quiet, not completely silent or sad, just different. He wasn't walking around nervously. He wasn't giving orders loudly or making jokes like he usually did. He just stood near the number 3 car and stared at it. Some people said he looked like he was remembering old times, like a man looking not at a machine but at a memory. A crew member who had worked with him for a long time came over and asked, "You okay, boss?" Dale just nodded his head. Then, speaking very quietly, he said, "Just got a weird feeling today, that's all." It wasn't that he was scared. It wasn't that he believed in bad luck. It was something heavier, like his body was going through the motions of a day he didn't fully understand. His pit crew was focused on getting the car ready and planning their strategy, but they couldn't ignore the strange feeling in the air. It hung around like a storm coming, quiet but threatening. Even Teresa Earnhardt, his wife, noticed something was different. She said later in an interview that he seemed far away and that he had hugged her tighter than usual that morning before going to his car. There was no thunder, no dramatic signs that something bad was coming, just a feeling in the air, a quiet worry that later felt like a whisper from fate. Pittsburgh Road is usually full of stress and people talking. But just before the engine started up, Dale Earnhardt did something nobody expected. He pulled aside one of his closest friends, a man who had known him for many years. He leaned in close and said, "If anything happens to me today, you take care of Teresa and the boys." The friend stopped moving, shocked. Dale wasn't the type of person to say things like that. Not on race day. Not ever. And definitely not with that kind of serious tone in his voice. Was he joking? Was he showing a weak moment? Or was it something else? The friend nodded, not sure how to answer. Dale gave a small smile, then walked away toward his car. He never talked about it again. That one sentence would be remembered more than any engine sound by the end of the day. By 2001, Dale Earnhardt wasn't just a driver anymore. He was a team owner, teacher, and father figure. That Daytona 500 wasn't about him winning the race. It was about helping his team succeed. And that day, he was watching two specific cars. The number 15 driven by Michael Waltrip and the number 8 driven by his son, Dale Earnhardt Jr. During the whole race, Dale played defense. He blocked other cars, moved around the track, and got in the way of other drivers. He was like a bodyguard in a black car, doing everything he could to keep the other racers away from his teammates. With just a few laps left in the race, Waltrip was in first place, Jr. was in second place, and Dale Sr. was in third place. This was exactly how he wanted it to be. He was driving like a man with a mission, one person watching the race remembered. Not to win, but to protect. He wasn't trying to make history for himself. He was making sure his family's racing team would have a good future. The white flag waved, which meant there was only one lap left to go. A Daytona 500 trophy was waiting at the finish line, but Dale Earnhardt Sr. wasn't in a position to win it. He was in third place, acting like a guard for his son Dale Jr. in second place and Michael Waltrip, his team's driver, who was leading the race. Going into turns 1 and 2, all the cars got closer together. Earnhardt Jr. was trying to catch Waltrip to win, and behind them, things were getting crazy. Sterling Marlin's number 40 car was catching up fast. As they raced down the back part of the track, Earnhardt Sr. wasn't trying to defend his own position. He was defending the moment, keeping other cars away so his team could win. Going into turn 3, things got really tense. Marlin moved to the inside, Earnhardt dropped down to block him, and Ken Schrader's car got close from behind. Then in a split second, the cars touched. Dale's number 3 car jerked to the side. The back end slid out. Schrader's car got tangled up with him. And just like that, the Intimidator was in trouble. At 180 miles per hour, his car turned sharply up the track and crashed nose first into the outside wall at turn 4. The crash was shocking and sudden, without any drama. No fire, no spinning, just a terrible stop that made everything go quiet. The number 3 car slid down the banking like a black flag falling in slow motion, and the crowd that had been cheering seconds before went silent. As Earnhardt's smashed car came to a stop in the grass, his team immediately tried to talk to him on the radio. "Dale, you all right?" Silence. "Talk to us, buddy." Still nothing. In a sport where even small crashes make drivers talk to their teams, this quiet was terrifying. His crew kept calling, their voices getting more worried. But there was no answer, no movement in the car, just the faint sound of radio static. One crew member looked at the pit area and said quietly, "Something's wrong. Really wrong." Meanwhile, Schrader had gotten out of his own car and ran to Dale's driver's side window. What he saw made him jump back right away. He waved his arms frantically for help. Emergency teams got there in seconds. They cut open the roof, knowing who was inside and what might have already happened. That black car wasn't just quiet. It felt empty, like the spirit of NASCAR had left the building. The pit road, which just minutes before had been busy with excitement, now looked like a sad gathering as paramedics worked around the twisted number 3 car. Members of Dale's crew watched helplessly, arms crossed, lips tight, faces pale. The medical team worked quickly, but nobody on pit road had any false hope. The way everyone was acting said it all. Serious, focused, practiced. This wasn't a normal response. This was a rescue effort filled with fear. Inside the medical center, Dale was given every possible chance to survive. But by the time the helicopter took off, the truth was already spreading through whispers. "He's gone." Some of the crew wouldn't believe it. "He's survived worse crashes," one man said. "He's walked away from wrecks that should have killed him." But this wasn't just another crash. And deep down, everyone, especially those who remembered Dale's strange words that morning, felt the same thing. He knew. As the safety crews surrounded Dale's wrecked car just a few hundred feet ahead, Michael Waltrip crossed the finish line. He had done it. After 462 races without a win, he finally won his first NASCAR Cup Series race at Daytona, no less. The most important race in the sport. It should have been the best moment of his career. But something was wrong. There was no celebration on the radio, no explosion of happiness in the team area, no cheers, just a scary silence. Michael rolled into the winner's area looking confused. Then confusion turned to worry. His team wasn't running toward him. No champagne, no celebration, just sad faces and distant eyes. "I didn't know what was going on," Waltrip said later. "I was happy for about 20 seconds. Then everything changed." While cameras flashed and reporters gathered around, someone finally told him Dale hadn't gotten out of his car. He didn't need to ask anything else. The look on their faces said it all. Michael Waltrip's greatest moment had become NASCAR's darkest hour. The man who gave him a chance, who had blocked and protected him all race long, was gone. "I wouldn't have won without him," Waltrip admitted, "but I would have given it up in a second to have him back." The winner's area that day felt more like a funeral. News spread like wildfire. Within an hour, every major news station had confirmed it. Dale Earnhardt Sr., the Intimidator, had died at Daytona. NASCAR fans couldn't believe it. For so long, Dale had seemed unbeatable. He was the warrior who walked away from crashes, laughed at danger, and stared down fear at 200 miles per hour. But not this time. Memorials popped up all across the country. Race shops put their flags at half-height. Fans left flowers, number 3 hats, and handwritten notes outside racetracks. One sign read, "Legends don't die. They just take the high road." But the most haunting moment was when those closest to him remembered his words from before the race, "Take care of Teresa and the boys." Had he known? Or had something deep inside, some feeling learned from decades of cheating death, told him this was the end? Dale Earnhardt Sr. had always been more than just a driver. He was a force of nature, tough, magnetic, mysterious. And maybe in his final hours, he felt what the rest of us couldn't. The signs were small. His quiet behavior, the final words on pit road, the way he threw himself into protecting others on the track. Was it fate, coincidence, or something deeper? Some say racers can feel the end coming. They know the dangers. They just don't always talk about it. Dale did. He left a message. One last moment of honesty from a man known more for toughness than sadness. Today, his number 3 car sits still, untouched. But his legacy roars louder than ever. Because Dale didn't just go out as a champion. He went out doing what he loved, protecting the next generation. And maybe, just maybe, he did know.